coming to you live from our studios on Kaiba Avenue. I am Jana Bosonko. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. The Gambia Armed Forces organized a Remembrance Day service on Sunday for the fallen World War heroes. The Gambia is hosting the 8th Africa Highest Centers for Excellence for Development ACE Impact Regional Forum with African higher education ministers and the leaders of the 53 African Centers of Excellence. The civil society organization Gambia Participates has organized a 3-day retreat for National Assembly members to help them build their capacity for effective oversight of the 2023 budget review. The 12th Port State Control Committee meeting and 4th Ministerial Conference hosted by the Gambia Maritime Administration ended on Saturday. Dr. C.D. Drammeh, a Gambian author, launched 10 books on Sunday, which were approved by the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Just tuning in, you're watching QTV News and I am Jenna Bosonko. Now, the Gambia Armed Forces organized a Remembrance Day service on Sunday for the fallen World War heroes. The event, marking the anniversary of the end of the First World War, was held at the McCarthy Square in Banjul.
These military men are remembering the fallen heroes of world wars. The Gambia Armed Forces and dignitaries led by Vice President Badara Alieu Diouf commemorated the event, recognizing the sacrifices of soldiers who put their lives on the line for our freedom and democracy. A march past led by the Gambia Armed Forces and prayers were led by religious leaders. At McCarthy Square in Banjul, senior government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, security officers and others came together to pay tribute and respect to men who lost their lives in the First and Second World Wars. During the Second World War, between 1939 and 1945, the Gambia was part of the British Empire as the Gambia Colony and Protectorate. At the outbreak of the war between the British Empire and Nazi Germany in September 1939, the Gambia was home to the Gambia Company of Royal West African Frontier Force. Commemoration of this day began in 1919, and Remembrance Sunday falls on the closest Sunday to the 11th of November. This year, therefore, marks the 104th annual observance of the day. May their souls rest in perfect peace. Umudu Gajaga, QTV News.
May their souls continue to rest in perfect peace. Now, aside from that, the Gambia is hosting the 8th Africa Higher Centers for Excellence for Development ACE Impact Regional Workshop with African higher education ministers from 11 participating countries and the leaders of the 53 African Centers of Excellence. The official opening of this knowledge-sharing and networking event was presided over by President Adama Barrow. Mohamed Lamin Choi was there and fastened this report.
Representatives from governments and the higher education centers of excellence across Africa have convened for this workshop in the Gambia. The meeting also includes subject matter experts, policy think tanks, and partners from the World Bank, the French Development Agency, and the Association of African Universities. Professor Olusola Oyewole is the Secretary General of the Association of African Universities.
In cognizance of the gap in African universities to promote entrepreneurship and innovation, the ACE Impact has indeed demonstrated that the project understands lagging areas in the African higher education sector and has adopted laudable measures in addressing these challenges.
The Africa Center of Excellence Impact Project is a World Bank initiative in collaboration with African governments, including the Gambia, to support quality and relevant higher education in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Faye Borofiche is the World Bank's resident representative in the Gambia.
So this is why we're working alongside the various African governments, and particularly in the case of the Gambia, to help establish the new University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, USET, to train the next generation of Gambian engineers and technicians and provide them with the requisite technical and soft skills, including in entrepreneurship and innovation.
The outcome of this workshop will provide implementation support for the ACE Impact project and share global best practices on the project's objectives for development impact, innovation, entrepreneurship, gender initiatives, and digital transformations. Professor Pierre Gomez is the Gambia's Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology.
The event is symbolic as it occurred when our higher education reforms, specifically the Science, Technology and Engineering University establishment under USET, achieved the desired objectives.
The theme for this workshop is innovation and entrepreneurship. Through the ACE Impact project, Gambia is set to establish a center of excellence to be called the University of Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology, USET. In July this year, President Adama Barrow laid the foundation stone for the construction of USET in Birkama.
The ongoing PhD training and mentorship of Gambians, which is part of the project, is a step in the right direction. Among other things, it ensures sustainability of the much desired administrative and leadership roles that USET has to fulfill.
Quality and relevant higher education are critical for sustainable development. At this workshop, all eyes are on these decision makers from academia and governments to find a solution to Africa's educational deficit in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This is crucial because less than 25% of African students in secondary and tertiary institutions pursue STEM-related career fields, according to the Africa Development Bank. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Now, the civil society organization Gambia Participates has organized a 3-day retreat for National Assembly members to help build them with their capacities for effective oversight of the 2023 budget review. I was there and this is my report. 60% of parliamentarians are new, therefore may not have the experience of analyzing national budgets, which is a key role in the multiple roles they perform as parliamentarians. The training is for all the National Assembly members and their key support staff. A government budget presents a government's anticipated revenues and proposed spending for a fiscal year, thereby providing us with the means to control government's finances as well as providing accountability through financial reporting. Mar Nyang, Executive Director of the Gambia Participates, emphasizes the need for continuous capacity building.
By virtue of the mandate of the National Assembly, they have 14 days to review the budget, make amendments, and approve the budget. And as a result of that, if you look at our 6 legislators, we have a composition of 60% parliamentarians that are new, and the expectations are high, but I think as civil society also we need to help them through the process, and that's the reason why we're working with Parliament to organize this retreat.
Gambia Participates calls for more innovative ways to attract investors that would yield the highest returns. This is particularly needed in our crisis-laden period, where we are tackling the effects of both the coronavirus pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war. Their combined effect has risen food insecurity to 26.5%. The new parliamentarians have a huge task ahead of them. Honorable Alajimbo, parliamentarian for Upper Salem, one of the more experienced members, has this to say to his fellow parliamentarian.
What is important right now is for the new members to learn, to understand, and to ask questions, so that they can have a better understanding about the budget and what it entails, and also to ensure that when the implementation is done, they're able to go back and then do a review to ensure that they've done their job properly.
Declaring the retreat open, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Fabakary Tombong Jatta, urges participants to participate as expected. The facilitators are 2 Gambian public finance management experts, 2 experts from the Directorate of Budget, and 2 experts for education and health.
The objective of this convergence for the next 3 days is therefore to avail ourselves as legislators the opportunity to thoroughly scrutinize this important document, which has direct bearing on the lives of the ordinary citizens.
The retreat is part of the Gambia Participates project strengthening and sustaining fiscal transparency and accountability in the Gambia under the Fiscal Transparency Innovative Fund of the U.S. Embassy in Banjul. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Basongo. From that story on the National Assembly retreat on budget review, we will now go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have some more local news stories for you. Don't go anywhere.
Under the auspices of the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, the Muslim World League, in collaboration with the Gambia government, will host the Conference of African Religious Ministers and Ulamas on the 6th of December 2022. The International Islamic Conference will bring together ministers of religious affairs, leading Islamic scholars, policymakers, youths, community leaders across Africa to discuss and advance Islamic values that promote peace and tolerance. Let's come together and welcome our brothers and sisters in keeping with our trademark hospitality as the smiling coast of Africa. This message is brought to you by the ministry responsible for religious affairs in collaboration with the Gambia OIC Secretariat.
Bank from here and there and here too, here and even here. Introducing the Bloom Digital Suite from Bloom Bank Africa. Web and mobile banking that allows you to bank on the go at your convenience and on your own terms. Check and transfer funds, pay NAWIC bills, buy cash power, buy mobile credit, and so much more. For more information, visit www.bloombankafrica.com or pass by any of our branches nationwide. Download from the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. Bloom Digital Web and Mobile Banking on the go from Bloom Bank Africa.
Cedric and Caroline came in to choose tiles for their brand new kitchen. Brown or beige? Brown. And why not a new mixture tap? A new sink too? Fine, a new sink too. And what about a lighting fixture? Shall we go for this one? See, you're finally on the same page.
I also wanted a new kitchen counter.
We got you, Caroline.
And yes, that's Batimat's Bati Days. Take advantage of exceptional discounts up to 60% on several products families. From November 5th to 19th, you will
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Basongo. Still on local news, the 12th Port State Control Committee meeting and 4th Ministerial Conference hosted by the Gambia Maritime Administration ended on Saturday. The forum sought to provide stronger and more effective compliance mechanisms for safer shipping. Suleiman Dabo attended the event and fastened this report.
18 countries represented by ministers responsible for maritime matters were in the Gambia for this 4th Ministerial Conference, which was preceded by the 12th Delegates Meeting of the Port State Control Committee. It is a statutory requirement to hold these meetings according to the Secretary General of the Port State Control Committee, and member states must demonstrate commitment and seriousness that these meetings require. That notwithstanding, Captain Sunday Omoren, Secretary General of the Abuja MOU, criticized holding endless meetings without having what he calls walking the walk, especially regarding member countries' contributions and meeting the inspection target of 15%.
While some members are trying to meet the minimum, others are yet to start conducting port state inspection. It was also observed that the detention rate is generally still very low. While not advocating for indiscriminate detention, port state control officers are implored not to shy away from detaining any vessel that is in contravention of the listed nonconformities under Code 30 of the Port State Control Manual.
There is so much inefficiency in Africa when it comes to the inspection of vessels, and Captain Omoren warned against the continent becoming the dumping ground of substandard vessels. That, coupled with countries that have not even started the inspection process, others yet to be members of the Abuja MOU, a lack of effective communication among member states continue to hamper the work of the Secretariat, in addition to the region not adhering to accepted world standards. Ibrahim Silla, the Minister of Works, Communication and Infrastructure, stressed the need for regional cooperation in the administration of the maritime sector and promised that the Gambia will do its part by ratifying the various conventions pertinent to the Abuja MOU, as not doing so could lead to some unfortunate situations.
For instance, a single avoidable maritime accident or incident such as an oil spill or waste discharge in our waters can have lifelong socio-economic impact on our populations at a very high cost. Therefore, it is imperative that we strengthen cooperation at the regional level to provide strong and effective port state control inspection mechanisms to keep shipping safe and vibrant in our respective countries.
Mr. Kwaku O. Asiyama, the chairperson of the Abuja MOU, supported Minister Silla's point about the importance of effective inspection.
We must strive to ensure that no foreign vessel leaves our waters uninspected. I therefore want to take this opportunity to call on all member states that are not active in port state control inspections to, as a matter of urgency, take steps towards becoming active participants.
To succeed, the Abuja MOU requires efficient and effective inspection of vessels, ensuring quality service delivery, safety at sea, and the welfare of crew members. Although all 18 member countries are committed to achieving those objectives, some are pursuing those objectives more swiftly than others. Suleiman Dabo for QTV News.
Dr. C.D. Drammeh, a Gambian author, launched 10 books on Sunday, which were approved by the Curriculum Research and Evaluation and Development Directorate under the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. Lena E. Gwenyiba tells us more.
Dr. C.D. Drammeh, a consistent author who holds a doctorate in business administration, is the Deputy Director of Human Resources at the Gambia Revenue Authority. The 10 books brought the total number of books authored by Dr. Drammeh to 34. Some of his books address topics such as the plight of women in rural Gambia, workplace taboos and how to control them, office politics and how to survive it, amongst others. Karamba Sonko, a family member, speaks about the author as one of the few learned natives of Jara Sekunda.
I am very happy to disclose that he is the first known villager from Sekunda to have obtained a doctorate degree in a related field of study.
Dr. C.D. Drammeh, the author, emphasized the importance of writing and encouraged writers to follow his example.
I urge all of you here today to join us in the writing field. For it is not about the academic qualification alone, it is about the natural talent and the zeal to put pen and paper together. For all of us together are greater than each of us. It is only together we can stand and together we can achieve our ultimate objective.
Yahya Silla, who has also authored several books, was full of praise for Dr. Drammeh. He spoke about the global book market and stresses the importance of books.
The global book market is valued at about $120 billion, the global book market. The European book market alone is valued at about 36 billion euros. The US book market is valued at about $29 billion. Now, based on this report, it is clear to everybody that the more a country uses books, the more progress it makes socially and economically.
Jaina Basilla, a young entrepreneur, was inspired by the writer and spoke about one of Dr. Drammeh's books, The Plight of Women in Rural Gambia.
Over the past few years,
You have inspired many young people, including me. And as a result, a few days ago, I read an article about Gambian women in rural areas who happens to be our mothers, sisters, and aunts. I was so touched and saddened of what these amazing women go through.
Also, some of the books authored by the writer are approved for use as supplementary material for senior secondary schools and higher institutes of learning. Dr. Drammeh obtained his doctorate degree from the University of Belfort in the USA and his master's degree and postgraduate diploma in banking and financial services from the University of Leicester in the UK, among other qualifications. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena E. Igwenyiba.
Now, congratulations to Dr. C.D. Drammeh. 10 books, huge, right? Congratulations once again. Now, the National Quality Assurance Authority, NACA, organized another in its series of day-long regional skills competitions on Saturday at the Sterling Technical Training Center in Busumbala to empower youths with TVET skills to contribute to socio-economic development and the employability of contestants. Momodu Gajaga was there and fastened this report.
These competitors compete in block laying, wall and floor tiling, electrical installation, refrigeration and air conditioning maintenance, fashion and design. It was an excellent demonstration of the various skills being assessed in this competition. This included building a power generation system using renewable energy from solar energy to power these refrigerators and air conditioners. It took the contestants 5 hours to build everything from scratch to finish article. After showcasing their skills in these areas, the best contestants in the 5 categories were announced. Serigne Aliou Fall won the block laying competition, Bach Jany the wall and floor tiling competition, Fode Singate the electrical installation section, Michael Mendy won the refrigeration and air conditioning maintenance section, and Siaka Silla won the fashion and design. Siaka Silla says he is now eyeing the national competition after winning in fashion and design at the regional level.
I was having that comment I would make because I know it's my talent and I can do it. And it's a noble professor to me. I take it as my noble professor or as my best talent that I should not joke with, I should always be serious with it.
Fatoumata I.B. Jallo was the only female participant who showcased her talent in block laying. Despite finishing 3rd in her category, she cherished the opportunity to compete against men.
It's a great pleasure for me to join this competition because among many of them they have chosen me. So my school asked me to come here to represent them. So I have to do all my best and all what I can to possibly do it. Yeah. Because if you have a talent, you must showcase it.
Representatives from NACA, the Higher Education Ministry, Region 2 Educational Directorate, and West Coast Region's Governor's Office all emphasize the importance of TVET education for job creation and socio-economic development of the country.
We encourage the youth to follow a continuous professional development path so as to get relevant skills at all times. Doors are already open with the new national qualifications framework for lifelong learning and for life-wide learning.
Without TVET, remember the chairs we are sitting on, the furniture, everything is TVET. No nation can advance without TVET. Now the youth that are here, the competitors, I'm calling on you to put in your best, your expertise, the values, and of course your talent.
Skillful population will certainly address much of our development needs and aspirations. It is disheartening at this moment to see Gambia, after over half a century of nationhood, still depending on foreign skills.
The regional skills competition focuses on skills promotion by preparing young people for opportunities to participate in national and international TVET skills competitions, to showcase their competencies and so enhance their competitiveness in the job market. Omodu Gajaga, QTV News.
Now looking forward to the national and the subsequent international competitions that these brilliant young people will participate in. Now from that, the International Organization for Migration, in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade, on Monday launched the migration strategy for labor migrants in the Gambia. More in this report from Usman Jidabo.
The 4 migration documents making up this strategy are the Labor Migration Strategy, the Labor Migration Action Plan 2022-2026, the Ethical Recruitment Guidelines, and the Departure Training Manual for Labor Migrants. The project was funded by the United States and the Italian governments. This strategy is in line with IOM's effort to promote orderly, safer migration, addressing issues such as unemployment, exploitation of labor migrants, and encouraging social and economic development through migration. Stephen Mateta is IOM's program coordinator in the Gambia.
These documents are guided by the Gambia National Development Priorities, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, particularly goal number 8, with regard to decent work and economic growth, and the Global Compact for Migration for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration, particularly objectives 5, 6, and 10, which commits to adopt options and pathways for regular migration in a manner that facilitates labor mobility and decent work.
Saron L. Cromer, the U.S. ambassador to the Gambia, highlights the Gambia government's efforts in fighting exploitation and urges the government to do more.
From the U.S. State Department's Trafficking in Persons Tier 2 watch list to Tier 2 status. This was a huge, huge feat for the Gambia, accomplished by the Gambian government's increase in prosecutions and convictions of traffickers.
The Minister of Trade, Regional Integration and Employment has worked with International Organization for Migration and serves as the lead ministry in the creation of these documents. Babukar Usmaila Juf is the Gambia's Minister of Trade.
Most migrant workers head towards the Middle East and other parts of Asia for employment in low and semi-skilled sectors. As a result, they often fall victims to trafficking and labor exploitation. This phenomenon challenges the government of the Gambia and partners like IOM and the U.S. Embassy, which is interested in this or managing it, among others, to concert efforts to curb the menace and restore dignity to humanity where we have lost a lot of it. This is the only sure way for us to assure safer lives and organized migration, which is inevitable.
The migration strategy document seeks to ensure social protection to all migrant workers moving within, from, and to the Gambia. For QTV News, Usman G. Dabo.
From that story by Usman G. Dabo on the migration strategy for labor migrants in the Gambia, I'm afraid that is all we have time for. Don't forget to tune in at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.